Just that conversation starts this whole game, the whole game theory. So once one nation, once a G20 starts buying Bitcoin and it's public, well, then that game theory is in play, and then they all have to. There's just no way around it.
Do you understand what's happening right now?
I really, really regret that successive governments have been far too timorous. The Bank of England, far too timorous about Bitcoins.
Like, are you seeing this?
E o que está acontecendo nos Estados Unidos hoje é sinal de que vai começar a ter uma corrida.
British politician Andrew Griffith of Great Britain just said this.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. I'm not going to force it on anybody. I think that's a big opportunity for the UK. One of the things was the first country in the world to successfully adopt credit cards was the UK. Right? They weren't invented here. The Barclay card started in the States, but the adoption massively different, and that's one reason why we're the home of fintech. Right? We've got that ecosystem here.
And I'm not saying Andrew Griffith's opinion is the end-all, be-all. He does not have all the power. He is a British Conservative Party politician, but notice what's happening to lawmakers and decision makers in the G20 regarding Bitcoin.
The Bank of England, far too timorous about Bitcoins. Massive disruption, massive challenges from that. But if you're worried about disruption, the best thing to do is disrupt yourself. And there's plenty of use cases that aren't nefarious, don't impede or restrict central banks. And they do have some of that ability as a break on the power of an overmighty state. So I was all in, and one of the agendas, just time didn't give me enough time to advance, was around Bitcoins and distributed ledger system. We got quite a few of the US firms at that time to come over and base themselves in the UK, A16Z and others, Coinbase. They've gone back now because the new administration in the US has taken a completely different approach.
So do you understand what's happening? The friend group, which all used to say, Bitcoin's for criminals, there's no real value there, right, everybody? All while the network was growing, the fundamentals were increasing, the value became undeniable, and then one kid, America, in that friend group stepped up and said, no, there's value here. We're actually going to start accumulating. Actually, we're going to start regulating. We want the innovation here in America. And then politicians in Britain suddenly say, actually, maybe we were late on this. There does seem to be value. Central bank members of Brazil also stepping up. We understand Brazil's in the G20. This is not a coincidence. This is not a coincidence. Former central bank president just said this about Bitcoin in the Central Bank of Brazil.
Na parte de política monetária em si, eu acho que também com essa coisa de uma parte do crédito está fora do sistema.
Yes, I understand their subtitles. Stay with me. We're only going to play about 60 seconds of this clip. So vital to understand.
E assim, a constatação de que os governos ao longo dos últimos anos trataram mal as moedas, né? Globalmente falando. Muita emissão de dívida, vamos dizer assim, muita pouca prestação de conta, né, para o detentor da moeda, para o cidadão, do que está sendo feito, né? Muita saída fácil através de vários tipos de governo, né, que no final das contas custaram a credibilidade da moeda. Isso também, né, faz com que você tenha esse movimento aí pelas moedas digitais e tal. Eu acho que isso é um desafio, mudou muito mais nos 6 anos do que nos últimos 20, e eu arrisco dizer que vai continuar mudando de forma exponencial durante algum tempo. E o que está acontecendo nos Estados Unidos hoje é sinal de que vai começar a ter uma corrida para uma fusão entre o que era o mundo de digital, cripto, fora do banco, e como que o banco pode se aproveitar ou se aproximar, né, desse movimento de tal forma a fazer com que o cliente esteja serviço melhor.
This train, the Bitcoin train, is only headed in one direction. And I should say, it's not just Bitcoin. It's crypto. It's Ethereum, Solana, Tron. The United States Treasury Secretary just predicted 15 times stablecoin growth from today. In his recent message, he says, recent reporting projects that stablecoin growth could grow to 3.7 trillion market by the end of the decade. That scenario becomes more likely with the passage of the Genius Act. That's the Stablecoin Act that just passed. A thriving stablecoin ecosystem will drive demand from the private sector for U.S. Treasuries, which back stablecoins. This newfound demand could lower government borrowing costs and help rein in national debt. It could also on-ramp millions of new users across the globe to the dollar-based digital asset economy. It's a win-win for everyone involved. See, Scott Bessent likes stablecoins because it creates more demand for US Treasuries. Crypto holders like stablecoins, especially if you like Ethereum, Solana, Tron, and I will also add XRP. These protocols have the most market share for stablecoins. And while the price of any asset fluctuates, look for signal. By the way, if you haven't already, click subscribe to Altcoin Daily for an edge investing in crypto. We will keep you updated on what's actually happening. And the news today is this. ADA falls 4% on heavy volume, but Cardano's upcoming Leos upgrade keeps hopes alive. So for me, the 4% dip is nothing. 4% in either direction happens in crypto. That's crypto. But the heavy volume, to me, is signal. Essentially, what that means is trading volume surged 38% above the 7-day average, suggesting strong market activity as ADA formed support near 58 cents, aka as selling was happening. And by the way, the whole market took a dip, but volume surged, suggesting buyers stepped up. And we also know we have the Leos upgrade to look forward to, which is years in the making.
So the reason we built Leos was we wanted to have the same performance profile, but be decentralized. That took 6 years of research and development and hard effort. But there's a huge value to that 6 years of it invested because we'll be the only ones who have that performance, but be decentralized.
So on Thursday, on Thursday, Input Output Global, IOG, the research arm behind Cardano, reiterated its vision for the upcoming Leos upgrade. The team explained that Leos is designed to optimize transaction processing and resource utilization, especially during peak block activity. The design introduces new mechanisms like endorsements to maintain security and data availability while boosting overall throughput.
1 to 2,000 TPS is like very, very achievable with Leos. And
Right.
you know, if you're willing to start making more and more trade-offs, you can push it even higher, right? We've done simulations pushing it up to 10,000 TPS.
So Cardano holders like this and should expect the Leos upgrade in early 2026. Is there a piece of altcoin news I missed? Comment down below. I want to cover the most important updates every day. Be sure to take advantage of the over $30,000 Altcoin Daily audience bonus on exchange partner Femex. Link down below. And like always, see you tomorrow.